It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, there's nothing else to do at the early
The
game,
real.
so we'll just fashion police them until something interesting starts happening.
Sounds just right.
Imagine commentating a game like Super Mario Sunshine where there's like a 7-minute intro. What would the commentators talk about? May as well just talk about how your day went. Yeah, I got a sandwich today. You eat sandwiches?
Yes.
Okay, race is starting. So, do some fashion police while going through the first area. I just want to say that while Frozen is nicely color coordinated, and I like the aesthetic he's going on, I just dislike the character. Hard bias. What's your opinion?
Yeah, I gotta agree. I really dislike Miyogi as well.
But as much as I dislike Miyogi, I think his outfit looks better than Ziggy's.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's well done, put together, so everything like kind of fits. The only thing I would like remove would be the ribbon because it's kind of big, but
Yeah.
that's pretty much it.
Mostly the Miyogi skin throws me off because the hitbox is the same on all character skins. So if Miyogi, it's the top of your horns, but you know, the regular V character, it's actually like below the top of your hair. So it throws me off to where the hitbox is, but I mean, whatever you're used to works perfectly fine. So they're actually getting into the first area now. There's still not that much to talk about since they don't really have any platform power-ups like extra jumps or slides. They're just kind of moving along.
Right now it's mostly just manipulating enemies so they move in the best possible pattern.
Yeah, if the players don't make a big mistake, what's going to really separate them in the early game race is that the RNG on those teleporting fire guys, since there's going to be a lot of them, you have to kill. Coming up, we're going to see the first damage boost on Ziggy's side. We're going to see a lot of those. Some of them save a lot of time, some of them save a few seconds like this. Enemy manipulation on their movement patterns is really important to set damage boost, because as you saw on Frozen's side, the enemy ended up circling around him overhead, and it took a couple extra seconds to actually get the damage boost, putting Ziggy slightly ahead in the early game. But I mean, they're basically dead even because of RNG, so I mean, that's what I'm talking about, the RNG on those teleporting fire guys, to make all the difference early on.
Yeah, they basically decide if you're gonna have a good floating key first part, and second part, because they can just go anywhere and become unkillable sometimes, so
Oh,
you really want to
they
get
can hide below the floor, it's really annoying. Alright, they've got the flutter. Platforming is now 5,000 times more interesting. There's gonna be another section of those portals where there's a gauntlet of enemies to kill, so there's just like a little more variance in the early game. Once we get into like the second half of this area, after the first boss, there's definitely going to be more of like platforming strats you can go for to save time. Because the only real scary like platforming strat you can use to save time is like that's skill-based really, and this section is really, really difficult, and pretty much only one runner has ever really gone for it in runs. It saves like 5 seconds, but you're more likely to lose 30 on your repeated failures to go for it, because it's pretty much you need a frame perfect flutter height, and then like the re-jump is really timing specific as well, the turnaround, it's awful. I hate it.
Yeah, I think it might be double frame perfect actually, because you need to do the frame perfect flutter and then the frame perfect jump after that.
This is no like Nintendo 64 Zelda frame perfect trick with 20 FPS. This game's 60 FPS, so frame perfect really means something. It's kind of really hard, it's not worth doing. Okay, so Ziggy's coming on to the first boss. Not much to talk about here, you just sort of wait for an attack to end, then you hit her.
Yeah, and on this boss we use the slowest weapon, but it deals the highest burst of damage, and it effectively cuts the fight in half, instead of using the normal.
Oh yeah, let's talk about weapons. Usually the shorter range weapons have higher DPS and the longer range weapons are weaker. They all get their chances to be in the spotlight for different areas of the game, because there are a couple bosses that are immune to the regular melee attack, and there's going to be some bosses where it's just not feasible to use a close range weapon on them, because it's just they're too far away.
Yeah, I think we'll actually see every weapon be used in this particular matchup, I think. Even if it's
not Gluttony. Oh, Frozen is.
Yeah. Even if it's not like actually strats, because Frozen uses Gluttony for a
Frozen uses
meme.
the kind of redundant weapon for a meme where it's like another weapon's fine, but he just does it. It doesn't really matter. So Ziggy kind of missed the cycle he was going for in the double turret room. So he slowed down a bit there. It's also going to prevent it from being able to do a damage boost that's very cycle-based later on. I'd say neither of the players got the fastest cycle. This area is super cycle-based. If you get everything on the good cycle, you just get to just move along really fast. and that enemy Ziggy just killed, you can bring it to a sort of later part and damage boost up and through that turret rather than going over to the save and taking it. Does Frozen do it? We'll see. No, Frozen doesn't do it either.
No, I don't think it does. But yeah, floating keep is mostly just enemy manipulation, a bit of RNG, and then just cycles.
Yeah, really important cycles. But I mean, they're just playing it safe. They're not risking anything, so no super fast cycles done. Just moving along at a good pace. Ziggy's entering the boss. This boss is... I mean, it takes a lot of skill to kill him properly, but how fast you can kill him is super random because he has 5 attacks, and you're probably only going to see 1 or 2. This one's not bad to get. You can kill him on just his attack without seeing another one. You can't kill him fast because you're using a slow weapon, but you can hit him the entire time. It's not looking good for Frozen with his RNG. Oh, yeah. Frozen got the worst.
Worst RNG.
Look how long this takes to kill him. Yikes.
You can make it kinda fast if you use sloth strats, but they're actually hard to do, so...
Yeah, because sloth is the weapon that swings really slowly, has a wind-up time. It's hard to time it to do good damage when he passes quickly underneath you. And it would have only saved Frozen like a second to do that, because he would have killed him on like 2 passes instead of 3 on that final scream.
Ziggy actually getting the good
one.
Yeah,
he got backpack. He got good falling skip on the first try. Let's see if Frozen gets good falling skip. Okay, yeah, they both got backpack. Good stuff. I've explained it probably 50 times this tournament, so I'm kind of tired of it. I think anyone that cares for the technical explanation has probably heard it by now. They did they did a good thing. We'll leave it at that. It saves 12 seconds to get good falling skip as opposed to bad falling skip.
I think Ziggy has been having a bit of trouble with good falling skip recently.
Oh no, yeah, no, his last run I saw against Cake, I believe he got bad falling skip. So, yeah, good on him for getting it.
So, this is gonna be the... Is it the... Yeah, it's the first, where you utilize save points and skipping them. Where you just go through the area, but you don't take the saves, so when you actually reset back, you get to save a lot of time because you don't have to go back through the entire area, because it's just a dead end.
Yes, some things in this game save their progress, so you can just reset back to the last save, and it only really resets your position, not your progress. It doesn't work for everything, but it works for some boss kills, so you can save a lot of time by just resetting your position back to a previous save, avoiding backtracking. It's used here to a big degree, it's used to the next boss on a smaller degree. It's actually really scary for the next boss, because you have to go on with less HP, and it's more risky than this.
So they're not too far apart. Ziggy has been pulling away a bit, but Frozen, he can catch up.
If Frozen get orbs, because Ziggy got orbs, which is the invincible attack this boss has. Well, I guess Frozen got it now. If Frozen got really lucky and got killed without seeing the orbs attack, he would have caught up slightly, but that's just, it's out of your control. It usually doesn't happen. Even if you're damaging the boss as best as you possibly can, following his movement perfectly, tanking where necessary, you just can't choose to avoid that attack. It's probably going to come unless the game is feeling particularly kind.
Sometimes you can even drop him below enrage health, but he will still... Like, he has decided to do it, so he's going to run and do it instead of enraging.
So it's so frustrating. He jumps up to scream at you, jumps down, then jumps back up to scream at you again. You're just watching it the entire time as he's invincible, wondering why he chose to play this game. It's great. Okay, so... Ziggy's moving into a real run killer section. They skip a lot of this area, but in doing so, they have to go through a huge gauntlet of enemies that chase you, as well as like giant rotating windmill spikes. There's a bunch of instant kills everywhere, they're skipping tons of saves. If they make a mistake, you're gonna lose like 30-40 seconds, and it's a huge run killer. This section is probably the hardest platforming until the very end of the game because of it.
Yeah, you really don't want to make any mistakes, because there's just so much time to be lost here.
Yeah, Ziggy's resetting at the save to reset the cycle for some spinning blades later on. The rock throwers are huge problems because their angles are aimed but slightly randomized. The bees are huge problems because they shoot at you and their movement is very randomized. So you're trying to deal with rocks, bees, and windmill cycles, as well as taking intentional damage to make this go fast. Ziggy takes 35 here, the damage boost up for the skip, and you need to save 35 to make it safe so these bees won't knock him into an instant kill. Ooh, Ziggy got the fastest cycle. Clean. Look at that.
Damn, that's actually really good, because it's hard to do.
He made it look easy, but he was like those rock throwers have a Death Explosion hitbox, and he just on the outside of it. First try cave skip. Wow, this was.
Damn.
He made the area look so free.
Basically perfect there.
Frozen's under a lot of pressure here to have as good of a veil, and yeah, he's already taken more damage. Frozen's less HP to work with. He's going for the backup because he doesn't want to die. This puts Ziggy really far ahead because he didn't go for the backup heal.
Yeah, I know Frozen really hates this area. It is one of his weakest points, probably.
Yeah, Frozen's playing it safe. He missed a cycle, and he took the backup heal. I don't blame him, because you need to save 35 HP, or else the bees might knock you into an instant kill chainsaw. You don't have any control over it if you don't tank health there intentionally. Frozen's going for the cave skip. Also first try. Good stuff to Frozen. Nice. He needs that. He's behind. Cave skip's hard.
Cave skip
getting hit by the rock, because you're sort of like pretending you're off screen and making the rock clip through the wall when the camera's not looking, and then the damage boost itself is pretty difficult as well.
Ooh, Frozen's actually taking a lot of damage here.
Yeah, because Frozen skipped the save on the way here.
Because he took a fire and a purple ball.
Yeah, you want to reset after this boss, because it saves your progress for killing the boss, so you want to reset your position outside the cave so you don't have to backtrack through it. It takes 12 seconds just to the backtrack. Ziggy's on really good pace here.
Yeah, this is a really good run so far.
This is the worst attack he could have gotten at this point in the fight, so he did lose a few seconds out of his control, but like, looking at his in-game timer, 10:45 killing here, that's solid.
I think I've heard that Amethyst usually takes around 120 seconds, with the variance of around 7 seconds probably. Like it can vary because attacks are faster.
So yeah, it takes around 1:20, yeah. But the variance is really annoying because the difference between attacks at the final phase, like lightning and the ice platforms, is huge. Wow, Frozen, if any of those ice spikes hit me, would have died. I'm sweating looking at Frozen right now. I'm sweating. Wow. Oof.
You really don't want to die at the Amethyst.
No, that would have been race over. Like, Ziggy would have had to do something catastrophic. Frozen would have been over 2 minutes behind. It would have been ugly.
Yeah, even if you, like, get the cave skip first try again, you still need to redo the boss fight, and since it's you can't just damage it however you want, you need to wait for the shield.
Yeah, it's a really long fight.
Yeah, it would lose so much time.
But yeah, Ziggy's moving along nicely. His run pace is pretty good. Very good for a race run, because he's sort of like gotten pretty decent RNG, hasn't really made any mistakes. He hasn't done any like nutty fast strats or anything, but it's just been very smooth and very clean. That's how you should play in a race, right? Just like, you know, trying to make no mistakes and not going for the super high risk stuff.
Yeah, unless you're insane.
Unless you're cake saucing it from world record. But yeah, no, Ziggy's not done anything like ridiculously swag versus Scream over, but like, he's just not messing up. He's just going well. That's most of this game in speedrunning, right? You just don't want to make mistakes because the time gain you gain from the really difficult strats is like not huge, but the time loss is like a massive risk.
Yeah, I think like most of the big time saves aren't actually that hard. There's Miyogi skip, of course. It's very hard.
I mean, he has done scary stuff, like he applied the Veil 2 skip, but he's not going for the really high risk, low reward stuff. Just keeping it clean, moving on nicely. Coming into this boss, you do skip like 3 saves on the way to this boss, but for an experienced runner, this boss is extremely safe. So it's not worth taking the saves just because they're out of the way. We don't really classify this as risky unless you're going into the boss with less health, which Frozen might do. He has 50 here because he took a mine on the way here.
Yeah, I think he will.
Otherwise, I think Frozen's taking the save. Yeah.
Ah, that's boring.
Because I feel like if you die on this boss, it's like 2 minutes lost because you skipped 3 saves on the way here.
Yeah, there's...
The boss is simple, but it snowballs if it goes wrong, because if you fail to kill one of the bombs that hit the ground, the fire carpets the ground, it doesn't go away. There's also rare undodgeable patterns on this boss. I mean rare. Sometimes it looks like it was hard, but you could have. It does happen though. It's possible. When the floor slaw sort of like happens with like the missiles and like the force of bots that come forward, you can get patterns that you can't really deal with. Alright, well, Ziggy's done.
So moving on. These 3 sections here, like Veil 2, Grotto 1 and Grotto 2, they're probably some of the areas that just keep the most saves in, because, like...
I hate to interrupt you, but I'm really worried about Frozen.
I think he's got it.
Yeah, this is why I took extra health before the boss. Imagine if he had 50 HP. He'd only have 10 HP at this point, and he'd probably die, but you know what? He's actually got this because he took the save before the boss. But yeah, go ahead with what you were going to say.
Yeah, but these 3 areas here, you skip so many saves in them, so like dying in Veil 2, Grotto 1 or Grotto 2 basically means you lose the run.
Yeah.
Because it's just so much time lost, especially Grotto 2.
There's so many run killer areas. Like, Ziggy skipped free saves on the way to that minecart just because they're slightly out of the way, and it changes your cycle if you go for them. You'll probably see Frozen do the same. Yeah, Frozen also skips them because you get a good cycle in the room he's going into right now. Oh, jeez. He tried to... What you're going for there is that when you flutter at a very specific height, you can shoot upwards through the narrow gap that your orbs would usually collide against, letting you hit the switch from outside from where you're not supposed to. But if you flutter too high, your head bonks on the instant death laser. Deaths here are extremely punishing. Dude!
Ooh. He's having some trouble there right now.
Big yikes! His setup's looking rough. That's really unfortunate for him. And that time he didn't get the right height, so he oh geez, did the backup strat work?
It worked.
Oof.
Will he? Okay, he's keeping the same. Nice.
Yeah, he got the backup strat, which is slightly inconsistent, but you can actually hit it from outside at a different angle if the backblast of your orb sort of tilts left when you shoot something. Because the backblast is a hitbox, I guess, why not?
Okay, so Ziggy's entering Terravine right now. This is probably one of the bosses where you will greed the most.
Yeah.
Because you just want to stand in his face.
This weapon's really high DPS, but it's really short range. Ziggy's pretty lucky to get the lasers attack early, because the lasers attack is the attack where you really want to save your health to use as a resource. Because you can tank the entire time, damage boosting over every other laser, so you maintain full damage output and only take 40 damage. Ziggy's also tanking on this attack to get the fight done faster. Super clean with Ziggy.
That was a really good kill, but I think he should have tanked 2 waves of green orbs. He could
have. Yeah. I mean, you can even double kill the boss if you're standing in the right spot and the toolbox lands on where your body was, so... He could have just stood in his face, but, you know... He's not trying to throw the match when he's already playing this well.
Yeah, this is a great run. And this is what amazes me about Ziggy. He doesn't use, like, the most insane strats, but he still is so fast.
That's what I've always told people. This game is about not dying. You only use the super hard strats when you want world record, and people learn them anyway, and they don't believe me when I say don't do them. And, you know, Ziggy has tied for second place, just, you know, trying to play clean rather than playing as fast as possible, and he's just trying to not make mistakes.
And I mean, he only has 7 deaths by now, and...
Yeah, those are all intentional save warps and stuff, or resetting cycles.
This is really, really well played by Ziggy.
Can just quick kill the skeleton. Yep. No, clean portal.
That was really good, really fast.
Yeah, making mistakes in this game is so punishing. It might be 2 seconds, it might be 2 minutes. It just depends on where it is, right?
Yeah.
Ziggy resets there on purpose because he's setting a cycle up for this section on these fire pillars. He wants to go without waiting on this one by the dash wing here. Oh yeah, dash wing power. It's just a single dash, or based on how many wings you collect. You can sort of bank them. If you take damage though, you lose the ability to do the dash. So you can't dash when you're on fire, unless you very carefully take and use the wing in between ticks of fire damage. Which is sometimes relevant to the next wing here, but I think Ziggy doesn't try and do the dash if he's on fire. It's too dangerous. Or he just gets a good cycle and doesn't need to even care.
No, this is the hardest flutter in the game.
It actually is surprisingly hard. Oh, he didn't get the... He wanted to kill those fire guys to make that fog wall despawn because the wall only checks for on-screen enemies rather than that have you killed all the enemies. There's a lot of strats in this game, especially later on, where you're just going to push skeletons off-screen by controlling their movement rather than killing them. So Ziggy's on Crateract. This is another boss where the melee weapon doesn't do anything. You just shoot, and how fast you can shoot is limited by your recharge speed, so it doesn't really matter how fast you press the button as long as you're shooting, you know, whenever you have an option to. Rocks. That's a bad setup. He's only gonna get 4.
That was really unfortunate. The first rock.
Yeah, the rocks are annoying because their spawns are based on your position and momentum, so you need to move towards the boss as they're spawning to get a good initial setup for them. And if you're already too close to him, well, you can't move towards him, so it's hard to get a good rock setup. All 5 rocks does a lot of damage, though.
If you get
It's also-
good, but if you get good luck and 5 rocks, you can actually kill this boss on this cycle.
Yeah, that cycle. You can
down.
2-cycle him, but it's super random if it's even possible or not, because you need to get rocks at a good time, and then he needs to double up on one of his quick attacks during the vertical phase, which happens pretty rarely. But yeah, Ziggy's done with the Underworld Part 1. I mean, less than 20 minutes on his in-game timer. This is a good run. This is fast.
Yeah,
like,
this is really, really good.
He's made no mistakes so far. I mean, that's what you see. The game looks easy when someone goes through and they make no mistakes. And you watch someone who's like worse at the game and you're like, huh, they're just dying like everywhere. I guess the game actually is kind of difficult. That's what really sets people apart in this game.
We'll get the fast cycle here.
Yeah, oh, fast like that. Ziggy's just going so clean. It's hard to state how clean he's going if you haven't seen the game before. Because you try it yourself, you're like, wait, hold on, how does just go through everything so quickly without ever dying anywhere?
But the stuff didn't hit him. Why should it hit me?
Yeah. No, Ziggy's looking great. Oh, wow, did you see him go?
That
those
was
worms have tiny
close.
hitboxes. That was really close, but yeah, those guys have really small hitboxes. Oh, that scared me, though.
Frozen, I think he got 3 rocks. He had a bit of an unfortunate spawn on them. But still,
he must have
good
gotten
so
4,
far.
because the boss was at 45%.
He's doing good though. Like,
Yeah, no, his damage pace is fine. I think he got 4 of them. But I didn't watch, I'm just guessing by the health bar. Too busy looking at Ziggy's clean run, right?
yeah, it's
Despite that
really
death
hard.
counter, those are all intentional for safe warping or cycle resetting. And we use the in-game timer for this game because we don't want to, but it's only fair because like load times vary heavily in this game, so we have to. So you can reset at a save to change your cycle, and you won't lose time doing so. Okay, Ziggy's 1 cycle in this room before the rest of the enemy spawn.
That
Oh
was
yeah.
really good.
You could see the enemy spawn as he was leaving the room, and that was putting the fog barrier back up. If he was any later, the barrier would have respawned while he was inside of it, trapping him. But, you know, he got the 1 cycle, so Ziggy's doing good stuff. And the skip, come on. Man, Ziggy's just getting first try everything.
This is really, really good.
Yeah, that was a boss, but you can do a skip by using your invincibility frames by bringing an enemy into the fight. So by the time the boss's hitbox hits you, you've already gotten high and like above the fight trigger, which is a tiny little rectangle in the center of the arena.
DLC content.
Okay, so Ziggy's resetting the cycle for tournament skip, playing it safe. And, oh, first try, yeah. Wow, he skipped the cutscene like... You didn't even see the text box count for the cutscene. He skipped it perfectly. If he was a frame earlier, he probably would have glitched the cutscene and had to reset the save. That was really clean. He was almost too clean. He almost messed up his tournament skip, but yeah, that was good stuff.
Okay, and the fast cycles as well.
Yeah, oh my god, Ziggy's doing so perfect here. Ziggy's on good pace.
Yeah, this is insane.
Ziggy at like a 36?
I
I'm just saying, if he continues to make no mistakes, he will. There's some hard stuff coming up though.
Dude, I believe.
It's so easy to make a mistake in like the next 2 platforming areas, the chambers and the Path of Decay. There's so many places where you can easily make a tiny mistake and get frustrated. There's a pretty major skip coming up as well. On the next boss, there's a skippable phase, but you only get 1 try and the window's pretty short, and if you miss it, you lose 40 seconds. So it's a really big decider of like if your run's a PB. It's been deciders of races in this tournament. Although, considering how ridiculously far ahead Ziggy is, he can miss it and still be pretty far ahead of Frozen.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem for him. at
Yeah,
all.
Frozen's gonna try and do the boss skip here. Ooh, nope.
Just short.
That shows that everything Ziggy's doing is like very, very good and very clean. This stuff is not easy. Frozen's just giving us legitimacy as commentators when we say that Ziggy's doing something that's hard. He's like, it's okay, guys, we'll make him believe you.
He's skipping the same before Miyogi.
Frozen needs to try boss skip again. So Ziggy's, if you attack the boss too quickly, she doesn't take damage, she heals instead. Ziggy does that on purpose. You need to set her HP to a specific value to make the setup for the skip possible.
Frozen gets it, nice.
The way the skip works is that you knock down the boss every, like, what, 8 hits or so? And if you knock her down when she's transitioning to her really long invincible phase, it just skips that phase. And we achieve that with a specific HP setup, and we use one of her attacks as a visual setup from when to, like, hit the tiny window. I think it's, like, 4 frames.
Yeah, I've heard that it's 4 frames.
Oh, this might get in the way while he's trying to go for the skip, because it's happening on this attack. Oh, he's late! He's late!
That was probably 1 or 2 frames late.
He's late! He missed it! No skip! Oof. This was like a perfect run for Ziggy until that happened.
Yeah, that was
like
insane.
that was some movie pace stuff. Like he may have been at this.
Oh yeah.
Wow, dang. I feel bad for Ziggy. It had such a beautiful run until that moment. This is why we've been describing the game as volatile the entire time. This is why this game is volatile. Because the tiniest error, and you've lost 40 seconds. And we just haven't been able to showcase this on Ziggy's side until, you know, right now.
And if Frozen does get the skip now, he will have caught up by around 30 seconds, so...
Yeah, but Frozen
he's far behind.
Yeah,
He's far behind, but it's still a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ziggy loses a lot of time here, but for a race, this is still like great pace for a race.
Yeah, like probably only 3 people could have this pace on a race, to be honest.
Yeah.
So it's really, really good.
You know, the boss still died like before 26 minutes in the in-game timer. So you know what? We take those. See, I don't think Ziggy can PB or anything anymore, but like, this is a good run.
Frozen!
Frozen fell off the elevator?
He didn't get quite, like, he was afraid to get hit by the skeleton, so he didn't jump up high enough, and then he couldn't make it back up.
No, but the elevator's so long.
So slow.
Oh,
That hurts so bad.
Frozen. Man, that's bad.
Yeah, that's really
It's hard to watch.
It feels bad because, like, even if you could probably have more costly deaths, an auto-scroller always feels bad.
Yeah, and like the elevator is not only like a really feels bad death, it's one of the costliest deaths you can get in the game for sure. Because the elevator is just really, really long.
Yeah, it's so slow.
I mean, I can relate. We've fallen off the elevator in races.
Everyone's done it.
It feels super bad. Well, Ziggy's made it to the chambers. This area is glitched. The music won't play unless he dies or resets at a save, so if he plays well, we just get to embrace silence for a little bit.
I kind of like that, to be honest. It's like kind of ominous when it's just completely silent, but it's like you're doing so well.
Maybe I should get into meditation. Do you have a yoga mat? Let's do yoga. Alright.
The silent change.
Breathe out for 20 seconds. Stretch. Feel the inner peace welling within your being as the harmony of nature permeates your very vessel and positive energy radiates out into the universe, creating... Okay, I'm done. That's as much yoga as I can feed out of my mouth without stopping. I don't know. I ran out of random words to say. But I think that we were all calmer in that moment. We felt good.
Or a bit afraid, but you know.
Yeah. So Ziggy's doing yeah. He's doing the half kill strat where he kills one skeleton as he moves along and pushes the other one off screen so the fog barrier despawns. You don't have to kill either skeleton since you can manipulate them to fly around you and they'll both fly off screen. But if you can do the regular pacifist strat while still killing a skeleton without slowing down too much, it's faster than waiting for both of them to fly off screen and make the barrier go down.
Okay, so Ziggy's entering orcs while Frozen is gonna do the skip pretty soon. Hopefully he'll mention.
Yeah.
get it, just so we on commentary can show you guys what it looks like, and so Frozen won't have to feel as bad.
Yeah, because Frozen's gonna do the skip like just like the next time she does that bouncing rocks attack. So, oh, he got it. He got it.
He got it.
There you go. So that really long invincible phase you saw Ziggy doing, Frozen's just not doing it. He caught up by like 40 seconds. Unfortunately, he's a full boss behind, but he did catch up by 40 seconds. Alright, Ziggy's pretty clean, quick kill pace here. He has enough health left to take one more hit to cross over, finish off purple before they start the enraged phase. Yeah, so now that it's impossible for them to change phases, and you can finish off red before purple reses. If purple sits there dead for too long, she just stands back up, but, you know, that was a
good kill. A bit scary though.
Oh, it was close. Like, he killed purple right before they started their enraged phase, and he only had like 10 HP left, but it was clean, good quick kill. It's not easy. Ziggy's entering the path of decay on still some really good pace.
Yeah, this is crazy from him so far. Even though we didn't get to skip in the end.
I love it whenever Ziggy gets a PB with like a path of decay that was just like not perfect, and he just calls it the path of okay.
Hopefully we won't see the path of okay this time.
Yeah, just path of decay, and he just knows just needs like a decent one. It's like, oh, my kingdom for a path of okay. I'm just quoting the man. I'm not that lame. I am that lame, but Ziggy's lame too, okay? Oh no!
Oh,
he's made the mistake. It's only
the path of okay.
This area is hard. It's the hardest platforming section in the game, honestly. There's instant kills everywhere, like black holes, there's spikes, the eating mouths, they all kill you instantly. And there's some puzzle platforming as well.
You could kind of say that the strawberries insta-kill you, because if you don't kill them, you won't be able to progress.
Pretty much. They just get in your way and they tend to knock you into the void, which results in you dying anyway. Has Ziggy learned the fancy strat for the climb yet? We've seen some crazy sloth stuff during this race. I don't think he does what I do.
Yeah, I think Kale is still the only one who does it.
I mean, look how fast Ziggy killed the enemies of Free. Okay, ignoring the part where Ziggy fell down, you saw how fast he killed the enemies, right? People have been messing with different weapons, but like, if you do the strat greed really clean, it kills the enemies really efficiently. But it is super fancy using it with the other weapons. I think Frozen's forfeited. Yeah, he did. Okay, Frozen officially forfeited, but it was extremely unlikely for him to make it back because he was probably 5 minutes behind. 4 minutes behind? Either way, we're just saying that Ziggy could have died to the final boss like twice and still won, so...
Yeah, he was really far ahead, but... have we gotten confirmation that it's forfeit?
Yeah, I have confirmation. It's an official forfeit.
Okay.
I'm seeing it in the race room. But this gives Frozen time to take a break. He can get a drink, he can cool his head, he can try and go refreshed into the next race and like try and win one, but he probably just felt like stressing himself out trying to continue this when Ziggy was so far ahead may not have been worth it to him since he was a little far behind. It was kind of hard to watch. Yeah. He was absolutely doing his best, but yeah, Ziggy is... I mean, the only person that's beating Ziggy at this point is Cake Sauce, who's sitting in Grand Finals, so... Ziggy's just too good at the moment.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, Frozen is still a really good player.
Yeah, Frozen's still put, like, you know, many hundreds of hours in this game, it's just that Ziggy's probably approaching 1,000 by now, so... That's what it comes down to, the difference in the passion and the practice put into this game. There's no talent that will carry you in this game. It all comes down to the hours you sink into it. There were, of course, you know, the talented people with, you know, platforming pedigrees playing this game when it was, like, you know, the first year of release, whatever, they were speedrunning it. But the people that really emerged victorious and getting great times in this game were always the people that, no matter what game they came from, no matter how much practice they had, it always came down to whoever just stuck with the game and played it for hundreds of hours. You just gotta practice this game a lot, or else you die everywhere, and you just look like a mess. It's hard to show people that this game's really hard when you get good at it and you stop dying everywhere, and they just think it's easy.
Because it's really not. It's probably one of the hardest games I've ever played personally. And it's, to be honest, it's probably one of the harder games that you can find normally. Like if you just go search on Steam and stuff, because I mean, Sure, there's always gonna be that random game that you found somewhere on the internet that nobody knows of.
Oh yeah,
That's
there's always this random
just-
obscure hard game.
yeah.
This game's actually really hard considering what it is. There is an easier mode, but we don't speedrun it.
Yeah, and even that isn't too easy.
On the normal mode this game was designed for, it's probably much harder than the average thing on Steam, for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But is it harder than Dark Souls?
Yes.
You're supposed to have an ironic meme answer to that question, and you kind of failed me on that, honestly.
I'm sorry, I can't stand the Dark
You're
Souls
supposed
memes.
to say that nothing's harder than Dark Souls, hardest game conceived by humankind.
Okay, this is the Dark Souls 2D platforming.
Okay, there you go, I made you say it.
Gosh
It was
darn
only
it.
kind of cringy.
Only a bit.
So Ziggy took care of the boss, he still had some life left. That boss, I didn't want to describe everything that's going on, because you kind of can't really explain everything that's happening to someone that doesn't already know the boss, because it's the queen of micromanagement. You just have to do 50 different things when you're fighting the boss to manage your damage pacing, to manage the platforms in the arena, and to, you know, not get hit by everything everywhere. So it's sort of hard to just describe. It's something you have to play and you realize, okay, now I understand everything that's happening. So, there's pretty much just two bosses left. The platforming is about to end, and these last two bosses are... It's my opinion that besides, like, a skip on earlier boss, these are probably the hardest bosses that execute fast in the run.
Yeah. They
Because
really are.
Yeah.
And
No,
Electra.
This upcoming boss. This boss puts spikes in the ground, you have to shoot them back at him, and headshots do 50% more damage, but if you overshoot his head, you do no damage, as head hitbox is pretty narrow, and these spikes are massive, huge, arcing projectiles. On top of that, he's really wiggly, so when you use a close-range weapon, his animations tend to bend over and hit you. He also attempts to knee you if you get too close, so you have to really be careful of when you're going in, when he can change his animations, when he might just wiggle at you. He's also only really takes damage in his chest when using a melee weapon, that's his weak point. So you need to be really close to him and watching his animations and knowing when to attack, when you're also managing other mechanics in the fight at the same time. Most runners use a long-range, slower weapon because it's just much easier to get good damage pacing while managing the other mechanics of the fight. But Ziggy is confidently using this weapon, not getting perfect damage on all those spikes, but still getting a pretty fast kill on the boss because his use of the melee weapon was really clean.
Yeah, and since the headshots do 50% more damage,
Yeah.
you could even say that he only really missed like the last spike there, because if you get 2 headshots, it's still worth the 3 body shots.
No triple headshot, no respect for me.
The triple headshot. That's really hard to do.
I never bought an air horn to make MLG air horn noises on commentary,
Oh, God.
but they probably would have banned me from commentary if I did that, so I may have decided not to, but it would have been really good. Alright,
No.
Ziggy's on final boss. This boss is a mess because you're constantly taking damage the entire time. You have to go gather heals to mitigate that. On top of that, you tend to miss them sometimes when you're going for good damage pacing. And you're just sort of... You need to use your health as a resource as well, but the boss is really, really scary when you're managing his attacks and movement. It's really easy to take unintentional damage, so using HP to take intentional damage to go faster is really spooky when you've been missing the healing orbs and he may have hit you through some sort of shenanigans.
Yeah, because sometimes when he decides to go to like one of the 3 spots he can be in, he just decides to fly either up, down,
Yeah,
left,
like,
right, or wherever.
He just does things. You need to be really, really comfortable and familiar with the boss to avoid attacks while getting in really good damage pacing, because he only really takes damage to the face. But Ziggy got the quicken rage here. Ziggy has about 60 health remaining. He might take... Yeah, he's tanking. Only take 1 hit? Okay. He almost took 2 hits, but that's a good setup to only take 1 hit and still be able to tank the laser.
Please don't do another laser tank.
I think Ziggy has become the best person at the boss, by the way.
Oh yeah, he
Average kill is
might have.
just... He's actually gotten better than Frozen Kick and May for sure. Like, that kill was really good.
Yeah, even though he did miss like a tiny bits of damage here and there, still a super fast kill.
So, that was a low 38 on the in-game timer. Really good race time. His PB is a lowish 37. But he almost got 37-minute race. That was super respectable. That was fast. That was clean.
Yeah, that was
Ziggy,
really good.
Ziggy takes game 1. Good stuff. So we'll have, I don't know how long it'll be until the next game, but the runners are getting prepared for it.
Yeah. Oh, still great run. Sadly, Frozen, he felt like he had to just relax a bit, get back on his game, fix his nerves, but hopefully he'll be back, like in prime shape for the next match.
Yeah. We'll need to set up the next race. And we will get the next one going on shortly. Okay, it looks like some of the technology is getting reset. To answer a question from chat, yes, Ziggy does split differently from some people, because I believe on the previous boss he splits on achievement, not when the boss dies, because the boss dying, the split time can be kind of inconsistent, because he doesn't die at 0% HP, he dies beforehand, so it can be kind of annoying to figure out exactly when he's getting Neil over, because he tends to finish his previous animation. So for consistency, I'm pretty sure Ziggy splits on the achievement. Unless I'm totally wrong and he splits on Neil.
He confirmed it. That was a legit 152.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure Ziggy splits on achievement. If he doesn't, I am a complete fraud, but we'll just talk about something else instead. But I want to say that was an extremely fast final boss. That was really good. Anything under 2 minutes, really good. But yeah, I don't know if we're making a new race room and SRL to set the second one. We'll figure out what's going on our end and we'll get the second match going in a minute. But yeah, just to reiterate, this is the best of 3. If Ziggy wins the next race, he'll move on to grand finals of the tournament, coming in on the loser's side, because Ziggy already lost to the world record holder Cake Sauce in winners finals. So whoever loses this match is out of the tournament, and the winner's moving on. And grand finals is not yet scheduled, but it will likely be by the end of the week, since we want to finish the tournament by the end of the week. So if I were to just guess, not say anything solidly yet, they'll probably end up scheduling it sometime like Friday or on the weekend. But yeah, this race isn't over. It's best of 3.
Yep.
We'll get the second one going. I keep saying that because it hasn't gotten going, but it will shortly.
Because we have nothing to talk about.
I'm running out of mouth words.
Yeah, same.
I need more words for my mouth.
We can talk about the upcoming bird RNG.
Upcoming bird RNG. It's a running joke in our community that the bird colors in the tutorial area, they're randomized colors. So we pretend that the bird colors are actually telling the seed of your run. If you get 3 blackbirds in a row, that's good RNG, or whatever meme you want to come up with at the moment.
Yeah, the more birds that are the same color in a row, the better. But it's only at the end of the bridge.
Obviously.
Doesn't count. Oh, also, the start can impact it, depending on the birds in the middle. So, never know.
Hey, I'm just saying, not even the guy who made this game understands how the randomizing functions work, so it could actually be true, because no one can disprove it. I want to believe in bird RNG.
Same. Also, Essie, no.
Oh yeah, the answer chat, Essie skip is bad and you should feel bad for talking about it. Because it doesn't save time, and it's nearly impossible.
I agree.
It's a great meme, though. It's a fantastic meme.
Instead you could just use skips that are actually time-saving, even though they're stupid. Like Chris Lude. Humble brag.
I just want you to know that's literally random because it's based off the pattern of the win streams, and you should feel bad for even using it.
I think you can get it every time. Sometimes it will just cost you time since you like fall up and down in the wind stream because the position is random. But I still think you can get it every time.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Of course.
It's bad and you should feel bad.
I don't know how to do it the original way.
You just flutter over to the side. You still have 2 jumps. It's easy.
Yep, but that's the hard part, jumping up at the end. I need a jump, flutter.
Okay, so our runners are ready to go for the next race. We're just sort of waiting on the technology. Production is probably busy managing some other race running on Speed Gaming's alternate channels right now, and they didn't realize we finished our first race so quickly. So while we're just sitting here waiting for the production to catch up, what do we have left to talk about? What's your favorite pizza toppings?
Oh, I'm actually really basic when it comes to, well, everything, but pizza in particular, I just really like calzone. Yeah.
So you like it plain?
Yeah, cheese and ham. That's it.
You're a plain boy. That's fine. Mushrooms, sausage, best pizza toppings. Top 3 mushroom, sausage, pepperoni. Honorable mention pineapple and Hawaiian because I want to cause some controversy. Like I want
this
people to
man
throw
off
down.
commentary.
I want to fight. I can start a riot. What else do we have to do while we're staring at a Frozen? I think Frozen stream is frozen, which may be why we're not continuing at the moment. It's very befitting of his name. I admire that he's going this deep to stick to his aesthetic, but at the same time, we kind of need his stream to move if they're going to do the second match of the race.
Smosh,
Frozen only conceded the first race. He didn't concede the whole set. He's trying. He wants to play the next one. I believe Speed Gaming staff is just trying to figure out why his stream is not working. Because I believe Frozen stream is working on his end, but their restream has frozen up.
Smosh, I gotta say, I like curry on pizza, but I don't like banana on pizza.
Why are either of those things even approaching a pizza? What kind of whack-ass European pizza you guys have over there?
Curry on pizza is great. Like
I'm
cheese,
sorry.
curry.
Curry on pizza?
Oh, dude, I actually had that today. I told you I was gonna eat pizza, and I had. It was homemade. It was cheese, ground beef, curry.
That actually sounds delicious. Unfortunately, they're actually going to get the next race stub, so we don't get to talk about pizza anymore.
Unfortunately.
I thought this was a pizza stream, not a speedrun stream.
Get the pizza.
This is what happens when they asked me to commentate, because they didn't have anyone else at this awkward time. I talk about pizza in between the runs, and that's just what they deal with.
And since I don't have a personality of my own, I just adapt to the person I'm with, so...
That's fair. Yeah. Alright, the runners, their SRL race room has been reset, they're re-entering it, they're readying up. We're gonna get stuff going.
This time I will look at the birds, though.
Bird RNG. Let's just... hold on. I almost typed without meeting, and we all know my keyboard is infamously loud. Even though we are in between runs, it would be extremely unprofessional to regale the stream with the power of my keyboard ASMR.
The Shark keyboard is one of the loudest things known to man.
Ziggy actually, most people play this game on keyboard, but Ziggy actually plays the game on controller. Unfortunately with this game, when you play on controller, the third-party plugin causes an increase of load times for some reason. That's one reason why I like to time this game in in-game time. But to make the real-time matchup for racing purposes, when one person's playing with the controller, we have the other person who doesn't, like Frozendoze. They plug in a controller or they emulate a controller, in either to cause the plugin to activate and the load times are the same for each player, hopefully. There's still a difference in the load times between a hard disk drive and a solid state drive, but there's nothing we can really do about that. We're doing our best to make the racing experience like match up with load times. Oh, they're starting.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, well, Ziggy very strongly took game 1, so hopefully we'll see something happen on Frozen's side where he starts, you know, stepping up his game. Giving us a good second run. Do we really want to explain the basic platform mechanics when we already did that on the first time through?
Yeah, no, we don't. Oh, did Ziggy just get a triple green up there?
Triple green bird? That's best RNG. Yeah, I'm just
double red and double blue, dude. Okay, this is.
Frozen got 2 blackbirds. These are good ominous signs.
Yeah,
the seers have decreed that the bird RNG pattern has foretold good luck for both runners.
If like Frozen got good luck, but Ziggy got god luck. So if he can just keep his nerves calm and stuff,
bird RNG.
This is a world record guaranteed.
You can't disprove that bird RNG doesn't exist.
Vomit, orbless, sporeless.
Easy. He's gonna get the best RNG on everything. We can't even fashion police their outfits because that's what we did on the first run. We already fashion policed.
Yeah, it's hard. Could talk about what platforms they drop.
Yeah, I mean, there's just not much that happens in the first area besides the RNG variants caused by the difference in the fire guys teleporting. For example, the fire guy teleported in front of Frozen, so he had to change how he moved, which caused the enemy chasing him to sort of circle around him, so it took him longer to get his damage boost. Also notice fire guys are jerks, and you should hate them with all of your energy.
Yeah, they're really terrible.
Wouldn't it have been really funny if they switched outfits exactly between runs and confused us about who was who?
I would have liked that. That would have been really funny.
I wouldn't like that either, but yes, it would be hilarious. How do you know they didn't do that?
Maybe they colluded with the Speed Gaming staff to just like, yeah, switch our gameplay.
Yeah, why do you think Frozen Street froze in between the races? Maybe their positions got swapped and they switched outfits.
Yeah,
it's all a conspiracy.
So Frozen has the best RNG actually.
Yeah, confirmed by complete pseudoscience.
Okay, this is mostly just for Ziggy. I'm doing it for him. Why did you take the red path? It's wrong.
I want to say that if you go around the left side, you don't have to turn around because you have acceleration in this game. If you turn around, you have to re-accelerate in the opposite direction.
They're called red. They're called red and green path for a reason.
Red path is better. You don't have to turn around.
No.
It's easier to take the save on the edge as well, because if you take the save on the edge, you're still healing when you take damage, so you're more likely to have over 70 HP going into the portal, so you're more likely to have more HP that you won't need to slow down or later, you can just tank.
Don't listen to this jester.
I will defend it to the end of my death. I'm not sure what exactly those words meant, the end of my death, the end of my life.
At least you're passionate.
At least I'm passionate. Okay, so finally getting to the interesting part of the game, but I think Ziggy still won't go for the dangerous, the more dangerous, risky cycle-based strats. He's probably still going to play it safe, but we'll point out if he gets a fast cycle here, because this room here is kind of tricky. You're clipping those platforms was really only done in this room, since clipping is only possible in very, very narrow ceilings, because it makes it possible to get a really good cycle in the next room as well. What he's going to go for. Hold on, it's just easier to describe if he does it or not. You can just go very seamlessly here without slowing down. No, he wasn't sure if the bomb was going to shoot or not. He was late on a cycle. Yeah.
That was really close.
Because you can go earlier than that, but it's hard to tell if the buttons get shooted or not if you're not very, very confident in knowing how fast you went in the previous rooms. You need to just have like an internal clock of what the cycle's like to move through that room as fast as possible. Because if you get through that double turret room on the right cycle, you get to go into this area he's in, and you get to take an enemy and do a damage boost through that turret, knowing that turret's shooting on a good cycle. But it's pretty specific, and you have a really, really good like knowledge of the game and that like internal clock, knowing how the cycle's working. That most people don't do it. It only saves like 2 seconds to damage boost through that anyway, so they don't risk it, especially in races.
It's looking good so far. Gonna watch out for the RNG. This is probably one of the more important parts in the early game.
Yeah, there's like 10 seconds of variance on this boss based on the attack selection. Ziggy actually got pretty okay attack selection. Frozen got the same. They got the same RNG. Fair race confirmed.
The birds?
Yeah. Shouts to fair races. Yeah. Oh, Frozen missed his kill though.
Yeah, it just comes down to execution.
Yeah, getting perfect damage on this guy is kind of hard actually.
Yeah, it is. It is very hard. If you use Sloth on low swimp, you can get a really fast kill, but it's still hard to do.
So yeah, Ziggy, they got the same RNG, but you could see the difference in like their execution, like how they damage the boss. So Ziggy goes ahead a little bit. Frozen's going for his falling skip right now. Frozen also gets good skips, so they both got good skip.
Again.
Ziggy is, slightly ahead. I mean, the RNG on the next boss could put Frozen basically even again.
Oh yeah. If one of them gets Orbless and one of them doesn't, it's gonna change a lot actually.
Mm-hmm.
The optimal, attack pattern you can get is first jumps, because then you can easily enrage him, into the, spit with 3 jumps, because then you can kill him super quickly.
Yeah,
it's so much time.
There's actually a faster one.
Oh, it is?
If they get the spit attack first and he jumps during the spits, you enrage him on just 1 attack, and then he uses his running attack post enrage, and if you have really good execution, you don't lose any damage following his movement on his running attack.
Oh damn.
There's actually 15 seconds of variance, not really, but it feels like it on this boss, with the super rare best pattern and the worst patterns.
That's something though I think is pretty interesting, because Electrum is one of the harder bosses to execute.
Oh, absolutely.
Fast.
Yeah.
In the game.
No, following his movement perfectly on his running attack is really difficult.
Okay. Wait, he did orbs first, right?
Yeah,
I think
he orbs. On this running attack Ziggy's doing, you can follow his movement without losing any damage pacing, but it's really hard since the weapon's super short range, and if you hit the boss, you ruin it. You have to slide on the ground perfectly after him without touching him.
Okay, so no one got Orbless.
Yeah.
Sadly.
It looks super, super clean when a runner does that running attack perfectly. It just looks beautiful. Especially when it's earlier in the fight and it doesn't get cut off halfway.
They're actually very close right now.
Yep.
Oh. I don't... What is Ziggy doing? Is he confused, or is he doing some new...
Oh no, Ziggy was doing that on purpose.
Strats.
He was trying to avoid getting hit the second time to save half a second.
Ah.
By staying behind the boss to the front, because you usually use your HP as a resource on that attack anyway, and by staying behind, if you got the other pattern where the boss stays on the ground and spits lightning, it would have been more damage output. Ziggy was playing correctly there. He was actually doing faster. It was good. It was good execution. It looked random. He didn't know what was happening, but it was actually really
I've never seen that before, actually.
No, going behind on that attack if you have the HP is super good, because you can just land back inside of it if you need to get your jumps back. You know what's low-key super difficult? What Ziggy just did there? Re-landing on that wind stream to get your jumps back on the base, because you have to cut in a kind of a sharp angle while falling down, and the angle and height ends up being different every time, because the height you get from the wind streams is kind of random. And if you go too late, you fall all the way back down and it's super awkward. That's one reason why this whole segment's so difficult to do without losing your run. There's so many places you can mess up that you don't realize is really hard until you do it a bunch. But most of the sections Ziggy's on right now is the most run-killing section. After he does a damage boost, it's super dodgy based on the way the enemies behave, and if he's able to maintain his good cycle. He has a good cycle right now because he just damage boost off the rotating blade.
Oh, that
Will he be able to
those
maintain
bees were
it?
close to being
Ooh,
really
no,
nice.
no, no, no,
Oh
no!
no! What is he doing?
Backup strat.
Oh yeah, he didn't take the save. I'm so
Yeah.
used to taking the save myself, so I
No,
was
he
like,
didn't,
why didn't
take
he
the red save.
reset?
Because the red save was so far away. We've had good cycle.
Yeah,
Though.
that was actually really quick thinking by Ziggy.
Yeah, no, see,
Oh.
no, Ziggy goes for a strat there that makes the fastest cycle way easier to get, but in doing so, if he gets a bad angle on the rock thrower, it's really easy for him to get knocked down to the bottom, and he got punished for it. It worked out in his first race, and it looked super smooth, and we were just praising Ziggy, right? But now that we're seeing what the RNG can do to you in this section, how punishing the section is, like what happened to Frozen. I'm an advocate.
Yeah,
Go
that was
ahead.
really well made by Ziggy though, like
Oh,
handling
good
the
save,
back.
good save.
Yeah, it was really well done.
I'm an advocate for the other strat where instead of going high on the rock, you try and dodge it below, which is like possible, like 95% of the time. And it's still possible, but really scary to get the fastest cycle. It is harder to get the fastest cycle when you do that, and Ziggy obviously wanted the fastest cycle. But I think going above on the rock definitely adds more risk because you're more likely to get hit by the rock and not have enough HP to safely tank through the windmill, since you have to tank at the end if there's any bugs alive, because the bugs can just knock you into an instant kill very easily. Frozen's struggling with cave skip. It's hard.
Yeah, it's
He
not
finally
easy.
got it. Yeah.
Because you're going in half blind, kind of. It's usually when we do a damage boost, we know the like the timings for it and stuff. But this is really a lot of just reaction.
Yeah, cave skip is super rhythm based, and since the rocks are kind of random, the damage boost itself is done on reaction. And the height you need to get is tricky. You need to get a lot of height off your damage boost, and like you just said, you're doing it half blind, so you're getting hit while the screen is still fading back in. Cave skip's hard. One day I'll have better words to describe something in this game besides saying X is hard. Maybe I'll even use words like difficult.
X is hard, Z did good.
Pretty much, that's all my commentary is.
I can relate to that.
So Ziggy's not on like the godlike pace he had on his last run where he had not made a mistake until well over halfway through the game, but you know what? He's still comfortably ahead in his race. Chat just filled me with the commentary tips. You know what my new phrase is? Are you ready for this? Not easy.
Whoa.
That's advanced language. You
Using
say everything's not
two
easy
words.
from now on.
Negation.
Yeah. It's crazy. So Frozen's HP is slightly dodgy, but he's got this done as well.
Yeah, I think he did better than he did last race though.
Yeah, no, his
because
HP was like
that was
it was
scary.
20 or less. He was a hit away from death last time. At least he had 30 left this fight. Attacks on the fight do either 15 or 20 damage.
See, when will you learn to use Sloth here?
It's only like a half second faster. It looks super clean though.
Yeah, but if you justify going behind Electrum for half a second,
Let's just shame Ziggy into doing all the half second time saves.
hell yeah.
Although I do want to say, if Ziggy's goal was world record, he would need all this stuff. You can't take world record in this game just by playing clean and killing the bosses quickly and not making it death. You can make no mistakes, you can have good boss kills, and you just won't get world record if you don't just do fast strats. You have to play super fast and do all the difficult strats and still make no mistakes.
Yeah,
World record's really good.
it's insane, and there's like still stuff to do. So
No one's ever
you
gonna
just
do all
gotta-
the strats without dying in this run.
Yeah,
There's so
no.
much stuff people refuse to do because it's just far too difficult. Like a fun example is the minecarts that Ziggy's coming up on later in the next area. We'll point out there's a damage boost there that's possible, but it's like extremely difficult and only saves 2 seconds. But yeah, Ziggy's made it to the boss. Frozen's still coming up behind. Yeah, there's so many strats in this game that just aren't feasible for runs. There's one we even call task platform, because if we made a task to this game, that would be the only actual, run that would use it, because any breakable platform in the game, if you fall off it or re-jump off it, the same frame you get your jumps back, the platform just sort of forgets to break.
Can you also like walk off on the last pixel of a platform as well?
The thing is, if you hit the very last pixel of a platform, you don't get your jumps back.
Oh yeah.
So you need to stay on the platform for 2 frames to get your jump back, but then you need to walk off on the next frame so it doesn't break. Obviously, all this stuff is not really, feasible to be done consistently by humans.
But it is so beautiful when it actually
does save time in the part later in the game. But that's what we're talking about. There's so many strats in this game that we're never going to see in a world record run. And the world record already does so many things we thought would never be really done in a world record run that, has no mistakes. Good boss kills. Imagine if Canarus got the God run. He does all the strats.
Yeah.
He goes for every strat.
If there's a super strat in the game, he will use it.
But Canarus usually gets like 15 unintentional deaths or more. Did Ziggy mess up?
Yeah, he didn't hit it, so he touched the laser at
Oh yeah, you're hitting that switch from the wrong side, and it doesn't always work. You just shoot diagonally at the correct spot, and then you sort of confuse the game. The back blast of the shot goes through the very narrow wall and hits the switch anyway. I guess Frozen has given up. That's not a stream crash. He actually officially forfeited.
Okay.
Well, this is still really early in the race.
Yeah.
I feel like he chose to do that because the first race, they weren't even in the same universe. Like, they were just worlds apart, right?
Yeah, it was such a big difference between them.
I think dragging it out would just make him feel bad.
And still, like, you gotta just... It's hard to say how good these runners are, because Ziggy is number 2 in the world, and like the top 3 spots are just way ahead of the other people in the game.
I also want to say is that our tournament format probably dragged on a little bit much for some of these people, because we had a revival of playing this game again for a tournament, but having it go for like 2 months. People who had a lot of energy and were willing to play the game again sort of burned out after, it dragged on to the bracket stage.
Yeah.
We did have some dropouts, realizing that no one would be able to beat our world record holder Cake Sauce anyway. So we're still going to have a very climatic finish to the tournament. We'll have a fantastic grand finals between, Ziggy and Cake, who are like number 1, 2 in the world at the moment. But yeah, it's definitely something. I do feel bad for the people that lost their energy to keep playing. Like, I was one of the people that dropped out of the tournament, and I guess Frozen still wanted to show up and have a good time because he was able to make it this far, but he's sort of realizing that he just didn't have a chance to reasonably beat his opponent, and he didn't want to embarrass himself further, like dragging it out, making him feel bad.
Yeah, like Frozen is still 6th place in the world, so
yeah, shout out to Frozen for playing this long. Shout out to Frozen for putting his great effort into the game and practicing a lot, playing a lot. It was great to have people playing this game again, and even if they stopped playing after the tournament, it was great to play everyone again. And
it's
good stuff to Frozen for getting this far in the bracket and having a good time. So even if he forfeited now, it's like I want to end on like a positive note, not a negative one. Like, oh look, he forfeited. I want people to think good of Frozen.
Yeah, he's great, and I think it's what, like you say, it's a combination of Frozen, him having nerves, because he might have gone into this match like, oh, if Ziggy messes up, I can still beat him, because if Ziggy has a big mess up, he can.
Yeah.
But it's also like people being burnt out because it's been like playing non-stop for so long right now.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But yeah, Ziggy has officially won, I guess, because just by default, he's probably going to play out his run anyway. He doesn't need to if he doesn't want to, but it gives us something to watch and to talk about.
He's probably the person with the most energy left for the game as well.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been putting a lot of time into the game, but I think even he's reaching his limit for practicing so hard for tournament matches. This game has a burnout problem. It really, when people get grinding out this game, get good times, there's so many run killers, you get very critical of your mistakes. And people definitely do burn out on this game because it gets them stressed out when they try and like push it to like the world record like level. Very fun to run casually, but it can be really tough when like a 5-second mistake just starts to feel unacceptable.
Yeah, and there's so many chances to make mistakes, and runs can die pretty much anywhere. So you
All
have to
sports
reset
are
a lot.
killer. Yeah.
It's hard.
I mean, every game gets grindy once you get to a top level, but yeah,
yeah.
that's just how it is with speedrunning, right? You want world record, it gets super grindy, and very few people have the real, like, you know, the energy, the passion, the drive, the personality to just go through and really just keep punching and punching through to try and get that world record. And our world record holder is a beast of a person, an absolute brute of a man. I don't know how he's so good at video games.
You can't really stress it enough.
Every single time you think he's human like the rest of us and that you catch up to him, he just does something that just blows, he just beats himself again. You just wonder like why no one else has ever reached the same sort of level of skill he's been able to reach in this game. He's just completely on another level.
And he is really selfish as well, because if Ziggy were to take this world record for the game, I can bet you Cake would come back for it.
To give some world record history, I want you to know the first time I took the world record away from Cake, he had it back within 24 hours.
Yeah, he won't tolerate them.
The second time I took the world record from Cake, he didn't take it back immediately because he was in North Carolina and didn't have his computer. He came home and retook it. Those are the only 2 times Cake Sauce has lost world records since he's had it, and he basically took them back effortlessly and immediately. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I gotta point out that you're a fraud, because one of those world records...
One of those was fraudulent, yes. One was very fraudulent because I used a new skip and I had a kind of a crappy run. The other one was dead shot, complete legit, though.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, Cake is just completely evolved into like a transcendent human being that will never lose in Wings of V again. Like he got a new world record in a race in Winners Finals versus Ziggy, like what, a couple days ago? You can't touch this man.
Yeah, it's not supposed to happen.
Yeah, you're not supposed to world record in a race, but Cake Sauce, he hadn't even practiced. You know how much Cake Sauce practiced? None. He was off running an event in another state. He came home, he did his race, he got world records. Like, yeah, that happened. He didn't practice. You can't beat this man. He's a good person, but wow,
yeah,
he's a beast.
Great.
He's a robot. He might actually be an alien overlord coming to rule us all.
Nobody really knows.
It's a mystery. Have you met in person? I don't know. I have, but maybe I haven't. I just don't know.
It was pretty funny actually when the tournament started, because Cake was still busy with another tournament by then.
Oh yeah,
so
Cake was super rusty. He hadn't played the game in like a year, so we thought we could beat him, but he hasn't lost. He hasn't lost in the tournament, and he's only gotten better as the longer it's gone on. So, you know,
yeah, he started practicing like, what was it, week 3 or 4?
Yeah. Yeah, and he's like actually can just world record any race now, so Grand Finals is like Ziggy's moved on the Grand Final, the loser side, right?
Oh yeah.
But oof, it's a very steep mountain. It's more of a cliff. The cliff even actually curves around the other side. It's like a 200-degree angle for Ziggy to climb, because he can't just upset Cake in a single game. This is Grand Finals. He has to knock Cake into losers and then win again to eliminate him from the tournament to take the tournament. On top of that, these are best of 3 sets because it's the end of the tournament. So he would have to beat Cake Sauce in 2 sets without losing in order to take the tournament. And Cake Sauce already looks like it's almost impossible to take a game off of him. So, wow, oof. I really hate to like act like the tournament's over, but I will be very, very, very impressed if Ziggy takes a game off Cake Sauce, and I will scream my head off and be super hype.
Yeah, it would be really amazing.
I think that
probably
a
good race.
I think the Grand Finals will still be a really good watch, because you're just gonna have these people just going at each other at really high level, and it'll be extremely hype if Ziggy keeps pace, and it'll just be freaking out in commentary. It'll be a great time. Absolutely.
I think Ziggy could take a game of Cake if he starts like, because I know in his first match he was kind of clowning around a bit. He did like super weird shit, and
No,
I
no,
had no
Ziggy,
clue what
Ziggy
was
can
going
absolutely
on.
take a game off Cake for sure, but because it's a set
Yeah.
format, that's why I don't
Uh,
think an upset's likely. An upset's much more likely in the best of one that we were doing earlier in the tournament.
Yeah, it probably won't change the outcome, but
Mhm.
I want to see Ziggy take a game of Cake.
We do. It's always good to root for an underdog. Like we're like, you know, we're talking mad things about Cake Sauce, but like we're doing this because it's really fun to root for the underdog. We all like Cake Sauce. He's a very supportive person. Every time someone came close to his time or beat it, he was, you know, very supportive, really happy to see people like, you know, pushing the game. We love Cake Sauce. He's a great person. But full bias, because it's a little stacked, we want to see Ziggy take a game or two in Grand Finals.
Dude, I just realized the grand finals is Double Daddy Deathmatch.
Double Daddy Deathmatch. I mean, these guys are the fathers of the community, yeah. But I mean, you really got to use those exact words out of your mouth.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
You really got to call it Double Daddy.
Hell yeah.
I like it. It's got alliteration, right?
Yeah, it makes it work.
Do you think we could bribe the speed gaming staff to put Double Daddy Deathmatch next to Grand Finals on the stream title, or will they just sort of never let us host a tournament again if we ask for that?
I mean, it's kind of worth it.
Because I kind of want it, right?
It would be amazing.
It might be a terrible idea, but I also kind of want it.
Oh,
I think
God.
I think I like memes more than I like integrity. That's why my commentary is so terrible.
Agreed.
Ever since Frozen forfeited, I haven't had the energy to really talk about how good Ziggy's run is going, because without the race context, sure, he'll lose time here, he'll gain time here, but he hasn't been on PB pace at all ever since the very beginning of the game when the Veil 2 section didn't go perfectly.
Yeah.
So there's not a huge amount. We could, you know, talk about every detail of the run, but there's no opponent.
We could talk about this thing because
Yeah.
it's.
Did you get it? Did you get it? He got Miyogi skip this
Yeah.
time.
That was like the first or the second frame.
But yeah, without Ziggy being on a PB pace or having an opponent to race against, this run basically doesn't have very much bearing on anything. He's just sort of completing it to give us something to watch and just to, you know, finish this matchup cleanly without just sort of taking the default win.
Say good job, Ziggy, saving 2 or 3 frames on that skill.
2 or 3 frames. Dude, those frames are earned. But yeah, no, he got the skip on that boss this time. That's like 40 seconds better than what he did on his last run. His last run would have been godlike if he had gotten the skip. Because he got like maybe 38.7 or something. I don't remember what his in-game timer was exactly his last run. He would have been very close to his PB, like maybe 10 seconds away from his PB last run if he had gotten the skip and the rest of the run was the same. His entire last run, the only differences between his PB were like 2 mistakes I can think of. That skip and a single death on the Path of Decay section. That made like all of the difference.
No, there were 2 Path of Decay mistakes.
Right.
He fell down as well, but
Yeah. So that made the difference between him and his PB.
yeah, it was.
His run was really good last time. It was actually really good. I was super impressed by it. For like a race run with this game, so much going wrong, it's crazy.
I want to see the silent chambers again.
Yeah, completely silent. Unfortunately, the yoga meditation class has been cancelled. That was only during last run. I'm no longer running yoga studio. But we can still breathe in deeply and think about the peace of the universe. To our no music.
Shark got shut down because he didn't have a license.
I didn't have a license to run a yoga studio. They came after me. I like how Ziggy shoots diagonally down at the strawberry demon to help like kill it without tanking through it. That's a good like minor optimization there that he's going for.
Just fall down like instead of damage tanking it.
Now if you're a task that spike corridor, you can just do that holding right the entire time. I haven't seen a human do it during a run, but I've seen a clip. It looks really cool.
Yeah, it's
Man,
super cool.
We got the music! What's this nonsense? We gotta listen to the music?
I cursed it.
You cursed it. No more yoga.
I did this.
I did this. I also really like Ziggy's one skeleton kill strat here if he gets it.
Oh!
I didn't get it. Oh, mess with the centaur.
He probably had it like a jump when he took
This
damage.
goes hard.
Like, when he did it.
The manipulation of the movement of the skeletons is pretty specific, and you also can't make a mistake or else the centaur won't rocket himself off screen. Because the skeletons like tend to bounce up or down, so like you don't hit them with the melee attacks. Yeah, that time he did the full pacifism strat, right, with both skeletons alive. But last run, he nailed one of the kills in the skeleton, so you didn't have to wait for the second one to dash for the fog wall to despawn it. It's really hard to do that strat though. Like managing their movement is really finicky because their movement's super based on your movement as well. Skeletons are super cool, but
Ziggy got the infamous pixels where your
the magic pixel.
Yeah, he didn't hit the spike, but for some reason V has a massive head. So if you're like just on the edge of a platform and fall down, you can actually jump up again. But the spikes won't hit you, so he just hit the like platform. But
yeah, my theory is that since you can have sub-pixel positions in this game because V accelerates up to a max speed, I feel like if your sub-pixels are like on, it checks for collision differently than it checks for like, you know, hitbox detection. I don't know why else the magic pixel glitch would exist.
Yeah, it's just pretty annoying when you're like just fall down a platform because you tapped a little bit too much.
Yeah.
You try to jump back up. Oh no, you hit the platform.
It usually happens when you hit the corner of a platform and walk off it on the next frame, but if you did that for only one frame, you don't get your jumps back, and you also don't die if there's spikes on the platform. It's not really something that humans can recreate consistently. Clean, quick kill.
Good. Good.
You know, this pace ended up being pretty similar to the last run because it wasn't as clean on the way here, but he got Miyogi skip in this run, which made all the difference, right?
Yep, it makes such a huge difference. What is it, like 30 seconds?
40.
35? 40 even, but the setup.
It's 30 seconds between not doing it and doing it, but if you go for it and miss it, it's like 40 seconds compared to like going for it and getting it.
Oh, okay.
That takes time. So yeah, so one boss was 40 seconds faster in this run. So even though he lost time on the platforming, I think it's still better than the last run, even though it looks way less clean. All because of a very difficult one-try skip in a 4-frame window. That's kind of how this game works, dude. That's why this game's so hard to run.
40 seconds and 3 frames.
Half of okay.
Yeah, strikes again. But getting a path of okay is still like hard.
Yeah, I always freak out when I watch Cakesauce play this game, and he does like hard strats on Path of Decay, and he never makes a mistake. It's crazy. God.
The save skips in the meatball section.
I think this is actually like the hardest section to do platforming without taking an accidental death. It definitely is. There's so many ways to take an accidental death here. And just watching Cakesauce like be going through this area with the pressure, knowing he's on world record pace, he's on the hardest like platform part of the game, and he just slams through it faster than anyone else ever has, like doing hard strats, deathless. He's just so good at this game. Oof,
oh,
oof, oof.
Ooh.
It's hard to tell if the skeleton died or not off screen sometimes, and he flies back on screen and respawns the barrier. You can sort of prevent this if you get a good angle on his movement when he enters that screen. You can kill him early, but yeah, that's what we're talking about. How it's so ridiculously easy to lose massive chunks of time in this area. You had no idea you were losing time. It happens all the time. Good skeleton angle this time? Yeah, skeleton will die passing through this time.
Yeah, sadly we are out of Path of Okay territory because like this, for anyone,
path is not okay.
For anyone but the top 5 people in the world, this is still decent, but yeah.
Path of Decay is hard. Oh, I'm sorry, wait, I need to use more advanced vocabulary, not get you on commentary. Path of Decay is not easy. Path of Decay is like Dark Souls. I could feel your soul leaving your body when you had to hear me use that word in commentary.
It's like the Dark Souls of Wings of V.
Yeah, the Dark Souls of Wings of V areas. I think Ziggy should have gone for the swag strat on that bone snake, just to show off because this run doesn't mean much anyway. It looks so good. It only saves like 2 seconds, it's hugely risky, but it looks so good. Shout out to Ziggy doing this meatball section on controller because you have 8-way movement, but dealing with diagonals well on controller is actually pretty difficult compared to the keyboard. Like with just a thumb. You're more precise having different separated keys for each input and being able to hold multiple keys for your diagonal inputs. Also, that corridor is really tight because the ceilings and floors sort of wiggle and their animation like moves their hitbox, and if you get hit, it's an instant kill.
I don't like Path of Decay in runs.
It's hard. Like when Ziggy's like fast cycling that, he's one cycling that room with the brute that shoots lasers. Like he's fluttering over the instant kill spikes, and his feet are basically scraping it. It's really close. So Ziggy's still well on pace to get like around a 39-minute like in-game time or something under that.
Yeah, and anything sub 40 is insane.
Yeah, anything sub 40 in the race is good, but I think at the level Ziggy's reaching, I think he wants his average run to be under 39 in game time.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I mean, if you want to have a hope of beating Cake, every run needs to be a 37 or else. Or else. He almost got 37 last run. It was close. You know, looking back at the whole tournament in retrospect, I think the biggest tragedies have been people who die by falling off due to gravity in this boss. That's heartbreaking. It's happened a lot, too, and you lose like a minute depending on when you die.
Yeah, gravity death is absolutely terrible. Because not only... Yeah, you need to redo the worst boss in the game. Just dropping that out there.
It's so easy for it to happen, too, because, like, the platforms lower themselves, and to transform into your demon form, you have to use your flutter, so you only have your 2 jumps left. And when you're micromanaging all other aspects of the fight, you sort of lose track. Also, if you clip into the platform on the side when it's raising or lowering, you get stuck inside of it, but you don't regain your jumps. So that's another way to die to gravity, for sure. It can also happen to the next boss. You can actually clip through the platform and die. It's really funny. It almost never happens in runs, though.
It's not funny.
Okay, it's not funny if you're on good pace. If you're on bad pace, it's hilarious. To just sort of phase through existence and just go into the void. The void beckons. What's even funnier is people who beat the last boss in the first playthrough, and they fall in between the platforms after killing the boss, and the boss dies, but the game doesn't let you progress the cutscene because you died post-fight, you have to redo it. Straight up, I almost uninstalled the game because of that.
Oh, that happened to you?
Yeah, and that was when the fight was harder because they didn't patch in the ability to use demon form on the fight yet. But that was patched in the next day, and I thought, you know what, I'll get the boss another try. I almost uninstalled the game right there.
God damn it, I would have been 1 place higher than you.
Am I still second place on the leaderboard? Ziggy's 1 second behind me, right?
No, he's three seconds ahead of you.
Oh, I PB'd again? Okay, I basically already considered Ziggy to be second place because the only reason he was a second behind me on that one run is because he fumbled his menuing to submit his time at the end of the run. But he beat the game faster, so I kind of conceded it to him, right?
Yeah.
But no, he's officially second place on the leaderboard, so good stuff to Ziggy for, you know, he earned it. He played this game a lot.
He's probably the person who's played... Yeah. Let's go. Oh!
That was a jank spike.
But yeah, Ziggy's probably the person who's put the most hours into the game since the tournament.
Yeah, I think he probably has the most lifetime hours in the game of the people we know besides Cakesauce.
Oh yeah. See, time matches up with place on leaderboard.
Yeah, pretty much. It just comes out of time playing this game.
Oh yeah,
I already had a rant about that.
On the highest. Oh.
That's thunder.
What?
Ignore that. It's just coming from
No,
my
what
back.
happened to Ziggy?
I don't know. Did the fight complete? Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, but he's like.
What killed him? What
he
killed
jumped
him?
into J1.
But like, the fight was already complete. How'd you jump into him?
Yeah, when he was sitting down and then something.
You see new figs every day.
I have no clue what just happened.
The thunder made it super ominous too, because Ziggy died and just the world just crashed. I'm now providing live sound effects to like match the mood of the stream.
Oh, that sounds good.
Alright, well, Ziggy is still... I don't think he'll get under 39 at this point, but, you know, it's under 40 minutes in the run, which with all the stuff that happened, still pretty good for a race time. Not as good as his previous one, but, like, he had already won at this point anyway, so...
Okay, let's...
And when I talk about sub 40, I talk about the in-game timer, not the big race timer. Ziggy's load times are really, really long.
Yeah. Controller is weird when you have...
No, the controller plugin sucks. It actually increases load times.
Oh!
He was trying to get like 2 extra damage, I think. He almost got hit by the instant kill.
He did a bit, because it's kind of an instant kill, but not really.
Oh yeah, it kills you in like half a second.
Yeah.
He may have taken like 10 damage or something. Okay, Ziggy took a lot of unintentional damage, but he still got like the fast and rage. It's kind of sloppy compared to the godlike kill he had last run, but he's just gonna play it safe from here on out. Alright, Ziggy's just about to clean up this run. He's already officially won, but we'll go through the motions to congratulate him on winner's interview, certainly. Get to talk to him for a short while, talk about how he feels about grand finals and all that.
Yeah, he had spoiled the win because he typed in chat.
Ziggy officially finishes his second race. Ziggy moves on the grand finals on the loser side, get to fight against Cake Sauce World Record holder. Probably scheduling it sometime within this week because we want to clean up the tournament this week. Who knows when it'll be scheduled, but we'll get Ziggy in here for a winner's interview.
Let's go.
Ziggy, how's it going?
Hello, hello, hello. I'd like to know what happened to Frozen.
He was very far behind, chose the forfeit. Frozen's also joining us. Hi, Frozen.
Here.
Hello,
Welcome.
Frozen.
Hey guys. GG Ziggy.
GG. So my runs today were fine, I guess. Well, the first one was pretty good.
The first one was amazing, except for Miyuki Skip.
Second was bad, except for Miyuki Skip.
If only you combined the good aspects from either run, you would have had to run very close to your PB.
No, that would have been really close. Well, second one, my goal at the end was, okay, if I can just, you know, get a sub 40, even with that bad a run, it's going to be fine.
Yeah, no, absolutely. At your level, any run could be sub 40, even with some big mistakes. You're already so far ahead of 40 minutes, it's not hard for you. How do you feel going in the grand finals, Ziggy?
I have to beat Cake 4 times.
Yeah,
That's
I was talking
hard.
about that on commentary.
Yeah, so the only person that beat me in the tournament so far is Cake, and he's beat me 3 times so far.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say I'm going there being a little bit pessimistic, but I'm going to do my best. That's all I'm going to say. Well, if I get runs like my first one, I actually have a chance. It just runs like the second one, I have no chance.
I think you gotta get all 37s to have a chance, man.
Yeah, I mean, well, it would have been a 37 if I didn't die to Azrael, but Cake just world recorded.
Yeah, so
absolutely. That would have been harsh, but it's fine. I love Cake. He's a good friend. I'm okay if he wins. I just want to make him sweat a little bit.
Yeah, make him nervous, dude.
Yeah.
Cake just does that sometimes. So just world records.
Take a game or two for us, okay?
Yeah, I'll do my best.
For me. So, anything else you wanted to say about the run? Anything to say to Frozen? About the tournament in like hindsight, now that it's almost wrapping up?
Frankly, I'm really glad I got, well, minimum second place now. Let's be optimistic a little bit. Because when I came in the tournament, my goal was just to get into the bracket phase. So I'm really impressed at how much I've improved.
Yeah,
I'm really happy about that, and I'm proud of Frozen as well. Like,
yeah, same for me. I never expect to be third place. That's amazing.
There was a bit of bracket luck, as in,
yeah,
I didn't I didn't show up to play. But yeah, you know, hey, good stuff. You got far. You put a lot of effort into the game. We tried to leave you on a very positive note when you forfeited, because we didn't want everyone to think like, oh, you just stopped. Like, we tried to, you know, make it positive, because you really did put a lot of love into this game. It's been great having you.
Thank you, Zerk.
What
Thanks for
happened exactly,
guys.
Frozen? I'm really curious. I need to know.
He died.
Yeah, I know he died.
Oh, my first one was completely terrible. I died to places where I never died before, and I got tilted so much. Holy shit.
Okay, so the second race you failed something against, and
Veil and Cave were bad, and it was looking ugly early on. And since the first race was so polarizing, you probably just didn't want to, like, you know, continue at that point.
Yeah, Veil gave me big problems this race as well. I managed to save it by getting back with the yellow save.
No, it was a good save. It was a good save.
But jeez, the rocks.
Okay, Ziggy. In the first race, your strat paid off. You got the first cycle way ahead of time. It looks super clean. But please go under the rock. It's safer. You can still make the cycle. I promise.
I am usually going under the rock, but the RNG she gave me that time was weird, like really weird. So I tried my best, but okay.
Yeah, I guess. It's no matter how you do it, you're just going to mess up sometimes, and you're going to be very unhappy about it. It's going to happen.
Yeah,
no one has 100% success rate in that place, so yeah, that happens.
I just want to shout our runners a bit, because like getting to second and third place in this tournament is absolutely amazing, because it's like something that happens with small games when you have like tournaments and stuff. It's stacked, like everyone from the top is there, so getting to these like places in tournament is just absolutely insane, to be honest.
Oh yeah, like everyone who was like really good showed up, and on top of that, Ziggy had so much improvement. Like you play this game mostly in like 2015, and you came back with this extremely strong return, just improving all the way to an extremely legitimate, completely earned second place worldwide, bopping me. So insane stuff, Ziggy. But were you on the leaderboards before your return?
I think I was 19th.
19 to second.
Yeah,
Ziggy.
I think I might have bopped Ziggy at some point.
I mean, the strats in this game sort of outpaced him because he used old strats, but like this return was really good.
Yeah, but my it was a sub 45, but it didn't even have Orc quick kill. So just to tell you how old that run was.
Old.
Yeah.
Like really old.
It was crazy.
But yeah, oh my god. Shout out to Speed Game for hosting this on the main stage for Losers Finals. If we get main stage again for Grand Finals, I'll be over the moon. Thank you so much for doing the production. Thank you to the runners for showing up. Thank you, Lude, for co-commentating and keeping it a really good time so I won't be lonely. I'm just really happy with everything that happened. Anyone have final words?
I've got one, yeah. I don't know precisely when it's going to be, but the Grand Finals is going to be this weekend, so you don't want to miss that. Cake is unquestionably the best player in this game, but I intend to give him a run for his money, so I don't think you want to miss the Grand Finals.
Alright. Well, that's about it for me. I'm signing off.
Yep.
Thanks for having us.
Bye-bye.
Bye.